Hello and welcome to the TSG Multimedia podcast for March 2018. We're sponsored in part by Podomatic, Bright Tech, and John's Easy Weight Calculator. I can do that because it's mine. I have a lot on my mind this month, so let's get straight to it. And make sure you stick with me till the end because I have a really cool giveaway in store for you. Last month was an incredibly busy time. I started the process of a website overhaul that will take several months, and I'm going to be talking more about that as things start to develop with it. I'm also in the pre-production stages for some new commercial releases, and I went to my first ever ops session at the CMRS layout in Crockett on the 17th, and I had so much fun that I immediately contacted my friends at Silicon Valley Lines to find out when their next ops session is, because I know they tend to do theirs late in the month. So I went to another ops session on the 23rd there, and you might remember the SVL because the layout tour from last month came from there. I filmed for another layout tour on the 24th at a very unusual layout that features vintage Markland trains, right, from Germany. And then on the 25th, I went to my friend Jack Burgess's layout to make some progress on 3 video concepts that we've been developing together. One of them is going to come out later this month, but more on that when I talk about the upcoming programs. I've been posting regularly to the new YouTube community tab as promised, and I've had some pretty good feedback on there, pretty good comments. If you don't know what I'm talking about, please go over to the tabs just under the YouTube main channel graphic on the front page, right, the header, and click on the link that's just below the header that says community, and you can post comments and reactions to the stuff that I post up there. It's pretty fun. It gives the YouTube channel more of an interactive feel, and I kind of like that because I like to have feedback from the people who are actually watching the videos. So I also last month created a new and improved Model Railroading 101 intro. I really liked the way it came out, and I received some nice viewer feedback about it too. I promised last month that there would be more fun and dynamic content coming to the channel, and that's really going to start being more apparent beginning this month, because all of the pre-scheduled shows that were done the old way have basically run their course now. So something else that should start to be apparent is exactly how much of what's been going on this channel was being arranged, produced, polished, and edited by me. Some of the comments on the channel make it really apparent to me that a lot of viewers don't quite understand what goes on here. And to state it in the simplest terms, TSG Multimedia is and has been my company since 1998. I started this company long before 2005 when I started working with Dan to do train videos. And even since 2005, I've always completed all of the post-production work that makes the videos visible and presentable to the public. And just as an example, I want to use a layout tour, just to give you an idea of what I mean by this. Before going to a layout tour, there might be, 6 hours of a preliminary visit to meet the layout operator or owner, whatever it is. There may be, a couple of days or maybe even over the course of a week or a month, correspondence regarding the script that they're developing and discussing, on the phone or through email, what the easiest or best approaches to filming what they want to present are. So that's all consultation stuff, right? So prior to the layout tour filming itself, you're looking at anywhere from, 1 or 2 hours up to maybe 8 hours of preliminary stuff that would be considered pre-production. Then the day of the filming of the layout, and by the way, I want to back up for just a second. What I was just talking about depends entirely on the layout and the layout owner. Some layout owners don't need to have all that kind of prep work, so they'll just have me show up and film, and that's fine too. Cuts out a lot of that preliminary work. But on the day of the filming, depending what the layout is, usually it's a full day of filming, and I'm schlepping all my lights over there and the audio equipment, which is all my stuff, and the cameras, tripods, all that stuff. So you're talking about 8 to 10 hours generally, average, on the day of the presentation, the actual filming, the shoot. And then after the filming, I may end up with 24 hours of editing and other post-production tasks. And that also includes, I'll usually put something together and post it privately for the layout owner to look at so that they can see how it's shaping up and make sure that their narration got all the facts correct and they said what they wanted to say, and maybe make sure that they like the way they look on it and so forth. So in the end user, that would be you, the viewer, sees a 20-minute or 30-minute video that in actuality took 40 hours or 45 hours, maybe more, actual man hours of work to create. So when I say I'm doing everything, I was involved in all of it. I wanted to mention it because I got the impression that people thought that everything going on here had only to do with the person that was talking or on camera most of the time, and the opposite is the reality. So that's just the nature of video production. So, and if you do this stuff, you know what I'm talking about. Anybody who's also a model railroader on YouTube or any kind of a YouTube producer, you know what I'm talking about. Everybody else who just watches probably doesn't even have a clue how much extra work goes into all this stuff. So I'm going to be, one of the things that I'm really looking forward to, and this is one of the reasons why it's been like water off a duck's back for me, the change in what's going on here, because now I have the freedom to branch out a lot more. So you can see way more variety and meet a lot of different people. And I'm going to cover subjects that may have not been possible before. I continue to do these things so that the channel will provide the kind of interesting content that promotes the hobby of model railroading, rail fanning, and soon prototype railroading. Oh, oops. I almost gave you a spoiler there, didn't I? Didn't mean to do that. Quick reminder, the DVD titles I put on sale last month on the website are still on sale this month. So if you have any interest in any of them, get them while they're cheap, because they're at least 50% off, and it's not going to stay that way forever. I want to thank everyone who helped get TSG Channel 2 up to well over 650 subscribers. As I'm talking right now, this is Tuesday, so what is that, 4 days ago, as the podcast comes out on Saturday? I checked this morning, and Channel 2 was up to 665 subscribers this morning. I really appreciate the fact that so many people are so supportive. I still need to figure out how to get the other 350 or whatever more. And, that's why I bring it up as often as I do on here. If you haven't checked out Channel 2, please do. You might find something there that you like. And a great example, actually today, this morning at 9 a.m., when this podcast published to Channel 1, Channel 2 also had something published that was train related, but it's a video game. So I put it on Channel 2. So anyway, it's a game review that posted to Channel 2 today. It's about a game called Railway Empire. And I want to invite you to look at that game review because it is railroad related. It's just not, it's not modeling and it's not prototype. I don't know. It seems like it could fit on this channel just because it's train related, but it's a video game. So I put it on the other channel. Anyway, you're invited to check it out. I'm curious to see what you think. Also, I'm curious to know if you think I should post something, anything that's train related to this channel as well, because I can upload it here too. I prefer to have something different over there for you to look at though. So anyway, if you like the channel 2 and the content over there, please subscribe so that the channel can benefit from YouTube's advanced support and monetization again. And I really want to thank everyone who already subscribed, and thank everyone even more who has been watching and commenting, because I've noticed a lot of the same people who comment on this channel have commented on that channel. I really do appreciate that a lot. Anyway, I mentioned something about being sponsored by John's Easy Weight Calculator at the beginning of the show. And in case you missed it, I was talking about the app I released back in January. That's the name of it, John's Easy Weight Calculator. And it's for automatically calculating the NMRA recommended weight for HO and N-scale rolling stock. All you have to do is measure the model and enter the length, and then the app does the rest. And since I released the app, I've come across another really cool idea that has to do with accurately weighting your rolling stock. And I'm developing a program about weighting your rolling stock to NMRA recommended practice weights for a future release. If you'd like to check out the app, it's available on the Apple App Store. It's only available right now on iOS, and it's only 99 cents, so, under $1. If you'd like to apply your NMRA recommended weights to your cars, I'd appreciate it if you'd consider buying it. Any purchases made are going to go toward the development of an Android version, so it seems likely to become a reality probably by the end of this year. So anyway, let's look at the poll results from last month. The question that I asked was, what is your current modeling skill level? And here's how it broke down. We had hardcore at 3%, advanced got 23% of the vote, moderate got 52% of the vote, beginner got 18%, and Thomas Rocks got 1%. And I have to tell you, I love looking at numbers like this because it provides insight to what's going on with the channel. And let's take a look at this and just to give you an idea of how my brain ticks here. If you look at these numbers, moderate and beginner add up to 70% of the viewers watching this channel. That made a light go off in my head as to why Model Railroading 101 is so popular. So I love looking at numbers like this. This is one of the things, like last year when I was kind of trying to evaluate what to do with the channel for this year, this is the kind of stuff I looked at. Now, this is a self-reporting poll on a podcast, so this is really just the podcast viewers, right? But if you look at this and then you kind of look at how much time it takes to do Model Railroading 101, you understand who's watching, it kind of gives you a much cooler, I guess, comprehensive understanding of what's going on. Now, I do have a confession to make. I'm the one who voted for Thomas. Thomas got 1%. I couldn't believe no one else voted for Thomas, and I didn't want him to feel bad. I mean, even as a joke, it had 0 before I clicked on that one. So I'm sure, though, if I had offered other as an option instead of Thomas, someone would have clicked on it. I'm sure of it. So in March, I'm going to be volunteering more, a little bit more at the SBHRS. The N-scale layout is being prepped for some changes, so I'll be helping out a bit there. I'll be documenting an op session on a very well-known layout in my area that'll become the subject of a future feature here on the channel. I'm also planning to go to a small private excursion to one of the railroad museums in the area very late in the month. And I'm not sure exactly what that's going to end up, whether I'm going to do a video about that or not. I really want to because it's a fairly well-known museum. There's going to be half a dozen or maybe 10 people there. And it could make for a pretty funny chasing trains if it goes that way. I don't know, though, because I don't know everyone necessarily who's going to go. And I don't know whether they want to be on chasing trains or not. So, but we'll see. And I'll let you know next month what it ended up being. Also, there's a very good chance that I'm going to get out and do some prototype, rail fanning, right? So that means chasing trains. I already have some plans with some people, some friends to go do that. And it sounds like a pretty cool sort of excursion that we're planning. Something that most people won't get to see all the time, which is, me, that's kind of what I like to do. I like to show people stuff that you don't get to see all the time. So there's that. We have some upcoming programs this month on March 10th. So that's next week. We have a layout tour. It's the Western Pacific in 1938 with Jim Diaz. This is a pretty well-known layout in the area, and you may have seen articles about this one in modeling magazines. It's in HO scale, and it is an absolute masterpiece. Jim's also a great guy, and he gives us a close look at his layout, talks about his approach to the hobby, and shares some of the behind-the-scenes type stuff that makes a layout like his possible. You're not going to want to miss that one. On March 17th, so St. Patrick's Day, we have the CMRS op session that I went on last month. I told you I was going to document my first ever op session, and I did. It's coming. My phone put out this little highlight reel. It came out a couple of days after. It said, hey, we have a new memory for you. I don't know, if you have an iPhone, you probably know what I'm talking about. And so I took a look at this. I posted it to Facebook, and I'm going to show you here because it's sort of a trailer for that show. So let's take a look.
We don't switch that in. With the open bar with a little display, we don't switch that track in.
Passenger trains stop at all passenger stations and wait a minimum of 5 minutes. This works out to 15 minutes on a 3-to-1 pass clock. All mainline trains bringing cars to Oakland or Sparks must go to the engine facility.
So far, so good.
Causes the crews to have to pay a little more of attention and then work around where in the real railroad they may take a track out to do some servicing on it.
Oh, and this is Jamie. He came with us today.
Hey guys.
Yet. The boss here told me it's okay to go again.
Good.
So I have a chance to mess up something else now.
Yeah, we'll get you out of here.
Okay, so on March 24th, Model Railroading 101 comes out, and I have a couple of programs in process right now. It's looking like the one that will compare NCE and Digitrax will be this month's episode. There's a small chance that it might be something even cooler, but I don't want to ruin the surprise I have in store for you by telling you what that alternative program that might show up is. So you'll have to tune in just to see what it is. But I would say right now, expect it to be a program that compares NCE and Digitrax. I didn't tell you last month what it was going to be because I wasn't entirely sure, but I see this question come up all the time on groups that I'm in, mostly on Facebook. People always ask the question at least once a week. You know, should I have NCE or Digitrax? So I thought, why not talk to some people who use both? This is not a program about bashing one or the other. It's a program about giving you information and maybe some practical advice that you can apply if you're going through that same question right now. So anyway, March 31st is what I've been calling in my calendar Wildcard Saturday, right? That's March is one of the months that has 5 Saturdays this year. And I mentioned something at the beginning that I'd been working with Jack Burgess on, a neat project, and that's what's coming out on the 5th Saturday. So March 31st, there was a guy named Bob Luno, and he worked on the Yosemite Valley Railroad in the 1940s. Well, Jack Burgess was lucky enough to get him to tell some stories about that experience that he had working on the YV on an audio recorder. Add to that some awesome vintage photos and vintage video. It's actually film, right? 8mm or 16mm film. Jack opened up his entire personal collection for this project, and there's a lot of really awesome photographs, vintage stuff that you're not going to see it anywhere else. And that'll give you an idea of what this program will be like. Bob Luno was a really, really good storyteller. And if you add the vintage photos and film to this, it's really cool and not something that you're going to see anywhere else, probably ever. So I'm very curious too to find out, when you do watch it, I want to get feedback from you in the comment section, because this is the kind of thing that it only comes along once in a while, and you're not going to see a lot of opportunities, right, to do something like this. So I want to know if you enjoy that kind of thing, because if you do, and if it gets a lot of success and a lot of views, I may look at trying to seek that kind of content out, the sort of, what it was like in the old days of railroading type of thing. Anyway, one last thing about possible upcoming events. Someone has suggested that I do a live Q&A session on Facebook every month. And let me know what you think of that idea in the comment section below. I'm seriously considering it because I like the idea. I really like the interactive nature of things on social media. And I think that a live Q&A could be done on Facebook and on YouTube as well, or on either or. Just depends what people tell me they want to see. But it provides a level of instant feedback, right, that I like, because I'm trying, as the channel administrator guy and managing everything, I'm trying to keep my sort of finger on the pulse of what the viewers want, because that's what makes a YouTube channel go, is understanding what the viewers are trying to look for and analyzing the numbers like I was talking about earlier. So if you think the idea of a live Q&A session is a good idea, post it in the comments. If you have a suggestion about times or days of the week that you think would be good for that, I'm interested in hearing that too. So anyway, we have a poll this month, and kind of relates back to the Model Railroading 101 topic I just mentioned a minute ago. And the question is, which DCC system do you like? And the answers are Digitrax, Lens, MRC, NCE, and other. Now, I realize that there are others, and that's what other is for, obviously. Some people really like the Ring Engineering Rail Pro system. It's not really a DCC system, and they'll be the first one to tell you that. This isn't DCC, it's better. But, it's only available in HO, and there's some limitations there. I didn't think it really fit in with the poll. I guess if you like that, you could put other. If you like DC, you could put other. Anyway, just kind of curious what you use or what you like. And so that's the poll. I mentioned at the very beginning of the program the new sponsor we have this month, BrightTech. And I mentioned that because now I'm going to talk about the giveaway. And this is it. Remember last month, it was, I think 2 weeks ago, or maybe 3 weeks ago, I reviewed a magnifying LED clamp-on lamp, right, on the channel on a product review. And if you missed it, you can check out the link that just popped up in the upper right corner here. And BrightTech is the company that makes that lamp. And they've set up a giveaway for the viewers of this podcast. Thanks, BrightTech. It's really cool that you are willing to do this. The link in the description of this video, okay, so down below, above the comments, below the video, there's a link, and it will take you to the entry page so you can enter for this free drawing. And what's really cool, even if you don't win, they're going to give you a coupon code for a discount if you want to buy one of these lamps anyway. And another cool thing, well, let me get to that in a second. I just want to quickly thank BrightTech for making sure everyone who watches this program is a winner. So click on the link below, enter the drawing, and this is what I was about to say that's really cool. The winner's going to be drawn on Monday, right? The day after tomorrow. So you don't even have to wait. One of the things that really sucks, this is one of my pet peeves, someone's going to give away something really cool. You enter the drawing and they're giving it, they're going to have the drawing like in 6 months. Well, by the time they have the drawing, you forgot you ever even entered. So even if you don't win, or you don't even remember about it anyway, well, at least I don't. They're going to draw it the day after tomorrow. So you're going to learn whether you won almost instantly. And what I'd like to do, speaking of interactivity, when you win, whoever you are, we don't know who's going to win because it's a random drawing, but when you win, I want you to send me a photo of you with your lamp setup. Okay? I'd like to share it on the podcast. If you're camera shy and really don't want to be in the picture or whatever, just send a photo of the lamp setup in your workspace. And I'd really love to share that on the podcast next month, right? That way, you get to be famous for 5 minutes and everybody else will know it was a real drawing, right? Anyway, so that about covers everything I wanted to talk about. I realize it was a lot, and thanks for sticking around to the end. And one more time, thanks for helping out with Channel 2, TSG Channel 2. I really appreciate that. As I've said before, we'll get to 1,000. It's just going to take a little bit longer than I thought. And, as they say, onward and upward. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you next time.
Oh, here I am. Oh, wow, that's awesome. Look at that guy. Hello, can you hear me? Hello?